So the aim for today is going to be how do we convert equations from vertex form to standard form. So before we do that, we need to know the answers to these do now questions. So please pause the video and answer these questions. So vertex form is y equals ax minus h squared plus k, and standard form is y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. So then we have to brainstorm, how do you think you can convert vertex form to standard form? Well, one thing that we see there is we see the squared. So first thing is we see something squared. So what that means is multiplying it by itself. So what we're going to do is we're going to have to double distribute, and then we're going to have to simplify and solve.
So to convert from vertex form to standard form, that means that we're going from our y equals a x minus h squared plus k form to the y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. So the first thing I see here is I have y equals, and then I have x plus 3 squared. What this squared tells us is that we have something that needs to be multiplied by itself. So I'm going to take the x plus 3, and multiply it by the x plus 3. And then I have my minus 3 at the end here. So in order to solve the x plus 3 times x plus 3 and simplify that, we can either use the box method or the double distribute method. Here what I'm going to do is I'm going to use double distributing. So I end up with y equals x squared plus 3x plus 3x plus 9 minus 3. So then what we want to do is we want to combine our like terms. So here I see 3x and 3x are like terms. And I also have the like terms of 9 and negative 3. So then I'm going to combine those and I get y equals x squared. And 3x plus 3x gives me plus 6x. And then 9 and a negative 3 give me a positive 6. And there is our answer in standard form. So for example 1, we're going to follow the same steps, but there is something a little bit different. So first we have y equals 2. Just like the last example, we have that squared that we need to get rid of. So what that's telling us to do is to take the x minus 7 and multiply it by itself. So I'm going to write x minus 7 2 times. And then I have the plus 4. So then I have y equals 2. And once again, we just want to double distribute. Now what makes this different is this whole thing is still in parentheses. So then, since I now have y equals 2 parentheses x squared minus 7x plus 49, close the parentheses, plus 4. I only want to combine like terms with what's inside of the parentheses first. So I'm going to combine just the negative 7x and the negative 7x. So that gives me y equals 2 parentheses x squared minus 4x plus 49, close the parentheses, plus 4. So now I still have that 2 on the outside of my parentheses. So now I need to distribute the 2 to those parentheses. So the 2 gets distributed to each of the terms inside my parentheses. So then I get y equals 2x squared minus 28x plus 98, and we can't forget about that plus 4 on the outside. So then finally what I need to do here is I need to combine my like terms of 98 and 4. So I end up with y equals 2x squared minus 28x plus 102. And that is my answer in standard form. So let's do one more together before I have you try some on your own. So we have y equals negative x plus 1 squared minus 3. So we're going to follow the same step. So I have y equals, now that negative there is an invisible negative 1. So I'm going to write that negative 1 on the outside. Then the x plus 1 is being squared. So that tells me I need to write that 2 times. So I have x plus 1 times x plus 1. And then we can't forget about that minus 3 on the outside. So then I have y equals, I have my negative 1 here. Then I need to get rid of those two binomials by double distributing. So I get left with y equals negative 1 parentheses x squared plus 1x plus 1x plus 1 equals negative 3. Then I need to take my parentheses and combine like terms inside the parentheses. So I'm going to combine the 1x and the 1x. So I get y equals negative 1 parentheses x squared plus 2x plus 1, close the parentheses, don't forget about that, minus 3. So then I still have that negative 1 in front, so that tells me I need to distribute that to each of the terms in my parentheses. So then I end up with y equals negative x squared minus 2x minus 1, and don't forget about that, minus 3 on the outside. So then finally I can combine my negative 1 and my negative 3. And I end up with y equals negative x squared minus 2x minus 4. So I converted from vertex to standard form. So now I want you to take a couple minutes and try questions 3, 4, 5, and 6. Pause this video until you're ready to see the answers. Here are your answers for questions 3, 4, 5, and 6. If you have any questions about the lesson or 3 through 6, please comment on the video and I will be sure to get back to you. Come on.